Last week, we saw an unprecedented fracturing in our relationship with Israel. It started when Australia said it would recognise a Palestinian state, and then escalated when Tony Burke announced he cancelled the visa of Israeli politician Simcha Rotman. For more on this, I'm joined by former Deputy Prime Minister, podcast extraordinaire, and general amazing statesman, John Anderson. John, thank you so much for joining us. What do you make of everything we've seen in the last week?
We have no particular attachment to democracy, and we are ignoring Bob Hawke's warning. Bob Hawke was a very educated man and a very insightful man. He made the observation that when the bell tolls for Israel, it tolls for all mankind. That, so far as I'm aware, no country that has turned its back on Israel now, I suppose you'd say, but more particularly the Jewish people down through the ages, has ever prospered. The obvious and outstanding example is the way the German people turned on the Jewish people during the Second World War. Now, that was genuine genocidal intent. It, of course, stripped out of Germany such decency as ever might have existed in an otherwise civilised country, and resulted in many ways, was one of the major factors behind Germany being reduced to a smouldering rubble. In the end, we have far more to gain by maintaining a relationship with a vibrant democracy, which is under enormous challenge in the Middle East at the moment.
Tony Burke went on the ABC and said this:
strength is not measured by how many people you can blow up or how many children you can leave hungry.
John, that is so out of line.
Well, is strength marching in, raping, murdering, cutting heads off babies, throwing them into microwave ovens, dragging semi-naked, dead German Jewish ladies around the streets to cheering Gazans? Is that strength? Is that character? Is that moral?
Exactly. And one of the things that struck me is that a lot of the comments and the general approach that Labor has taken to this whole issue just screams of a government that has never actually had to confront jihad as terrorism themselves. They've never had to fight a war. In fact, we're hopelessly unprepared for a war. It is a government that cares more about virtue signalling to its own base and potentially winning a few extra votes in Western Sydney than actually standing up for what's right.
Freya, I never thought I would say the day, or find the day would come when I have to say in some ways I'm deeply ashamed of my own country, that we should be turning Australia into a place where the Jewish people who have contributed so much, and in fact most of whom came here because of the unbelievable oppression and suffering that they were subjected to in Europe in the 30s and 40s, that they no longer feel that this is a place where they're appreciated and can feel safe. I am staggered that Australia's reached this point. I go back to what Bob Hawke said. Every culture and society down through the ages that's turned its back on the Jewish people, it's fallen prey to the oldest form of racism, and racism is hatred, basically, at its heart. Stop this juvenile critical thinking, that's driving this stuff, that somehow this is about oppressors and colonists. That just doesn't stack up to a moment's examination for anyone who understands anything about the Middle East.